A very good evening to you, and thanks for joining us tonight on yet another life-transforming edition of your one and only program, Questions in the Heart. Thank God you can hear me tonight. I went singing over the weekend and lost my voice, and I couldn't speak for 2 days because I want to come to you tonight. So I was saving my voice to be able to come to you tonight. Thank God I'm here, and thank God you are there watching. The Lord bless you. Tonight on Questions in the Heart, we're going to be looking at sickle cell disorder. And I've got a wonderful, wonderful set of people in the house with me to answer all your questions and tell us what sickle cell disorder is all about. They've got this NGO called J Before Courtship. You want to know about that tonight as well? You just get ready. You will be informed. I'll go on a short break, and when I come back, I get you to meet who my guest is, and then we'll look at what is sickle cell disorder, who can get it, why do we have it, how do we prevent it, and many more on Questions in the Heart tonight. Don't touch the dial. I'll see you after this commercial break.
Hello Jude, do you know about J Before Courtship?
J Before Courtship? Shakila, what on earth is J Before Courtship?
It means just before you go into courtship. And it's a charity organization, set up to create the awareness about knowing our genotype, and most importantly for individuals who are about to go into intimate relationship, especially if they are planning to have children.
Please tell me more.
It's about attaining very important information before going into courtship.
And what is so important then? Academic qualification, family background, or religious orientation?
No, come on Jude, it's more than that. It's about knowing your genotype before getting romantically, emotionally and involved.
How do you mean?
I mean before you fall in love, or head over heels in love, or before the love ocean sweeps you off your feet, and you get carried away. Anyway, to be serious now, it is simply about checking your genotype. If you are a sickle cell sufferer, then your genotype is SS, and if you are a sickle cell carrier, you are AS. Now the only thing to avoid if possible is checking that you and the fine girl you want to get married to, or the guy you are planning to marry, especially if you're planning to have children, are not both AS, or else there's the possibility of having a child with the full-blown disease. So J4 is creating the awareness so that intending couples can exchange this vital information well in the early days of their relationship, and make a guided decision.
Wow. Thanks so much Shakila. I understand J4's mission now.
You are welcome Jude. But not enough to thank me. Please try and get yourself screened to know your genotype.
Now I know my genotype. I'm AS, which means I have a trait.
Jude, do you know about J Before Courtship?
I was just telling my guests that I love coming your way every week. I told them I've been doing this for the past 3 years, and I look forward to coming your way every blessed week. And I want to say thank you to all you God's lovers all over the world. Your emails, phone calls, text messages, they are the four keeping us going. Thank you so very, very much for being part of Questions in Our Family. I appreciate you. Like I told you tonight, we've got a wonderful set of people in the house with me. They represent J Before Courtship. And tonight I'm going to introduce to you the founder of J Before Courtship in person of Madam Modupe Afolabi. Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Honor having you on Questions in the Heart.
Likewise, it's a big honor to be here as well.
God bless you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And seated beside you is, you want to introduce Doctor to me?
This is Dr. Yori Adebu.
Dr. Yori, you want to say something to God's people?
Yes, my name is Oluyori Adegun.
I like the way you pronounce that. Yes, my name is Oluyori Adegun. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
What do you do?
I'm a dental surgeon by training.
Okay.
I have a very special interest in academic dentistry.
Wow.
So I do a lot of teaching, I do a lot of research, and obviously do some dentistry.
So God's people should be ready to learn tonight. You're welcome on Questions in the Hair. Back to you, Ma. You want to tell us a bit about J Before Courtship? What's J Before Courtship all about? You are the founder,
Yes,
so tell us about J Before Courtship.
Thank you. J Before Courtship is a non-profit organization that has been set up to create the awareness of sickle cell disease,
Okay.
and also to encourage young people to go to the hospital and get themselves screened and know what their genotype is. We've found out that a lot of children are being born these days, not just, it's been on for so many years, but I think the awareness is getting stronger and deeper. We have children, we have people who have sickle cell disease, a full-blown disease, and it's simply a disorder that has been inherited from their parents. And I just realized that it's a disease that's foreseeable, and because it's foreseeable, it can be prevented. And the way to prevent it is to create the awareness of sickle cell disease. Now, how do you get sickle cell disease? When two parents who are both carriers, they're both AS, they're both carriers, they get married, there's that likelihood of them producing a child with a full-blown disease. So JB4 has been set up.
If two people were AS.
Yes, they're carriers.
Okay.
Yeah. If they do get married and they plan to have children,
Then there is a tendency.
there's that strong possibility of them producing a child with a full-blown disease, because the child inherits S from dad and S from mom, and the child has SS as his genotype. Yes, and it's a life of pains. It's a life of pains, and can lead to so many other things. Again, there's that likelihood. So JB4 has been created to create the awareness, just to help young people get themselves tested, know what their genotype is, and take an informed decision before they go into courtship. So that's what we're all about.
And how long have you been doing this for?
It's very, very new, very recent. The idea was conceived last July, but we launched it for the first time in UK last month in June, and it's been launched in Nigeria as well this month, July. So it's still early days for JB4. So
Still early days for JB4,
Yes.
and you're already on TV. God bless you. Welcome on
Thank
Questions
you.
Today. I'm coming back to you shortly.
Okay.
Dr. Yori, what is sickle cell anemia?
Now, sickle cell disease, or sickle cell disorder as it's rightly called, it's an inherited disorder. And it's an inherited disorder that affects red blood cells. So a particular protein, which we call hemoglobin, and for short HB, in sickle cell disease is distorted. And in essence, they would have what is called HbS, which is hemoglobin S. So a normal person, like myself and yourself, would have a normal red blood cell with a normal protein, which is called HbA. So in very simple terms, it's an inherited disorder that affects red blood cells.
Well, if it's inherited, then it could be prevented, isn't it?
Of course,
definitely.
of course.
You want to tell me how we go about preventing it? Well, if a disease is inherited from both parents, that means there is a way, there is the possibility of preventing that disease from coming through, isn't it? You want to tell me how we go about that?
Well, before we start talking about prevention, let's even talk about how it's inherited. But
okay.
you are right to say that it could be inherited.
Yeah, because he said it's from, she said it's from both parents.
Yes, it could be inherited. Now, what normally happens is that it can be inherited from both parents, and a parent can either be AA, could be AS, could be AC, or could be SS. Now, so depending on what genotype the parent has, that determines if that could be passed on to a child. So let's say, for example, you have an AA parent, one AA parent, and the other being AS.
Yeah.
There is no chance they would not have an SS child.
Okay.
Okay? But there's a 25% chance that they would have an AS. They would definitely have AA children.
Yeah.
Let's assume that both parents are AS and AS.
Like she said.
Okay? So it simply means that for every child, there is a quarter, 25%, that child could be a sufferer. And that's where you come in, saying that it's preventable.
Yeah.
It's preventable because if you know your genotype, then you are informed not to get married to another person who is AS. So it's being informed.
Being informed. If you know your genotype, then you can decide not to get married to someone who is, if you're AS, you must not marry someone who is AS as well.
Particularly if you plan to have children.
I'm going to take you up on that.
Okay.
What if I love the person?
Okay.
Pastor Moji.
Yeah, that's a very good question. What if you love the person?
Yeah, I love this young guy. You know, we've been together for a while. We're planning marriage, and here comes J before courtship saying, "No, Esther, you can't do that. You both are AS. You want me to throw away my love?"
Okay, very good question. Now, J before courtship, it's actually J before courtship. So we believe that courtship is not as intense as marriage. So, just like the advert we watched earlier on, courtship should lead to holy matrimony. But J before, it means, and J before stands for just before. So just before you walk into courtship, find out what your genotype is. And if you're both AS, then you need to make a decision as to whether you still want to go ahead into courtship, which will further lead to marriage. Now, the implication of going into courtship and getting married is this. If you get married and you plan to have children, then there's a problem. The problem is there's that strong possibility of having a child with a full-blown disease. Now, you don't want a child asking you after getting married when she's on the hospital bed, maybe when she's 7 years old, and she said, "Mom, Dad, did you know that you were both AS when you got married?" What would your question be? What would your answer be? Would you say, "Yes, we knew that we were both AS, we knew the possibility of having an SS child, but because we loved each other, we were helplessly in love, we just wanted to get married anyway"? That child will say, "That was very selfish of you," because it's the child that goes through the pains throughout his or her life, except there's a divine intervention. The child experiences frequent hospital admissions. The child misses out on social life. The child, goes through, gets pricked by the needles in the hospital. So many things that this child goes through just because this mother and this father loved each other so much that they decided to go ahead.
I disagree with you.
Okay.
The founder of J before courtship.
Okay.
Dr. Yori, where is God in this? If God says, these days, especially in the Christian fold, believing God says you're my wife, God says you're my husband, and if it's God, it's perfect.
Yes.
What if God says that's the guy for me, and we're like, what, God spoke to me, and he said, oh yeah, God spoke to him too, and we both agreed. Are you saying God is not powerful enough to handle this for us?
Thank you. I like the way you brought God in. Now, God is sovereign. Now, I have some friends who have told me, you know what, God spoke to me, and God did speak to them. They went ahead. They're now married.
And they got it wrong.
They got it wrong.
Okay, we've got to go on a short break. Dr. Yori, I'm coming back to you. We've got on a short break. Don't touch the dial. They're saying if I'm in love and my partner is AS and I'm AS, we shouldn't get married. Are you saying the same? I think they are right. Do you think they are right? I think they are wrong. Do you think they are wrong? See you after this break. We are here only because of you. If Questions in the Heart have been a blessing, we would ask of you to please sow towards our ministry so we can keep doing what we do. Please support us. Our website address is www.questionsintheart.com. Please click on the PayPal link. Telephone 0788 120 7952. As you give towards this work, we can reach more and liberate more. God bless you.
Immigration issues in the UK, then listen to this from Victory Legal Services Luton, led by Mrs. Marian Owonifa, LLB Honours, MA Advice and Legal Work. We are specialists in immigration and nationality law, debt and consumer law, housing law, social security law. Contact us today at number 20 Southampton Gardens, Luton, Bedfordshire, LU3 3UA. Or you can call us on 01582 524 521 and 07862 254-673. Our website is www.victorylegalservices.co.uk. We are a legal firm that is regulated by the OISC. Contact us today and you will be happy.
Bar, restaurant and nightclub. For all your African and continental dishes, come to Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub. Banku and tilapia, fufu, fried yam, pounded yam, egusi and many more. Excellent food range. Fully stocked bar, professional catering services, late night license, Afro entertainment, fully air conditioned. Afrikiko is a perfect spot for your special event, parties, weddings, meetings and private functions. Call us for a reservation today. Time Monday to Thursday 12 noon to 1 a.m. Friday to Sunday 12 noon to 4 a.m. Locate Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub on the Old Kent Road, London SE15 1NX. Telephone 0207 732 4041 or 07903 315 150 or visit www.afrikiko.uk.com. Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub, a place to be.
Hello Jude, do you know about J before courtship?
J before courtship? Shakila, what on earth is J before courtship?
It means just before you go into courtship. And it's a charity organization set up to create the awareness about knowing our genotype, and most importantly for individuals who are about to go into intimate relationship, especially if they are planning to have children.
Please tell me more.
It's about attaining very important information before going into courtship.
And what is so important then? Academic qualification, family background, or religious orientation?
No, come on Jude, it's more than that. It's about knowing your genotype before getting romantically, emotionally and involved.
How do you mean?
I mean before you fall in love, or head over heels in love, or before the love ocean sweeps you off your feet, and you get carried away. Anyway, to be serious now, it is simply about checking your genotype. If you are a sickle cell sufferer, then your genotype is SS, and if you are a sickle cell carrier, you are AS. Now the only thing to avoid if possible is checking that you and the fine girl you want to get married to, or the guy you are planning to marry, especially if you're planning to have children, are not both AS, or else there's the possibility of having a child with the full-blown disease. So JB4 is creating the awareness so that intending couples can exchange this vital information well in the early days of their relationship, and make a guided decision.
Wow. Thanks so much Shakila. I understand JB4's mission now.
You are welcome Jude. But not enough to thank me. Please try and get yourself screened to know your genotype.
Now I know my genotype. I'm AS, which means I have a trait.
Oh Jude.
We're live on www.faithwordtv.com. Please tell your friends and loved ones who are not on Sky to log on and be part of tonight's special episode with Mo and Jay before courtship team. Back to you, Mo. Before we went on break, I said, if I'm in love or if God has spoken, should I say because my partner is AS and I'm AS, even despite the fact that God has spoken, should I say, oh, God, you know what? You got it wrong because we're not compatible? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, thank you. Now, if God has spoken, and if the people concerned are sure that God has spoken and not their emotions speaking to them, then by all means they should go ahead and get married. Because God always has a plan. But in the event whereby God has not spoken and they're trying to assume that God has spoken, then that will be very unfair. Just before courtship is to create the awareness of sickle cell disease. We are not to ask anybody to get married or not to get married. They are to make an informed decision. The Bible says in the book of Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 that my people perish for lack of knowledge. So knowledge has been made available. They should go to their GP, find out what their genotype is and make an informed decision. And if God is asking them to go ahead and get married, by all means, why not? God is sovereign.
So are you still saying God is still in the business of choosing partners for people?
I would say that yes. God
You
is
say
involved.
yes?
I would say yes to that.
So what happens to a young girl who's got about 4 or 5 brothers in the church coming to say, God says, you're my wife?
Okay, we've had cases of that, which can happen. But God is not the author of confusion. 4 brothers can't receive from God and say that he has led them to this sister.
So definitely people can get it wrong saying God says why God is not speaking.
You know, when it comes to the issue of love, you know what love is like, you know, emotions, people are not very rational, they assume things. So God is not the author of confusion. If God is asking a brother to marry a sister, God can't speak to brothers to go and marry one sister. So 3 of them must be lying, or it could even be the 4 of them that are lying.
Or one genuine, or 3 others lying.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So are you saying if God is in it, they should go ahead? And is there a possibility of 2 people who are ASAS not having a child who is SS?
Yes, there's that possibility. Just as there's the possibility of them having SS children.
So it's a 50-50 thing.
Yeah, I know of a family, they've got 5 children, and the 5 of them are sufferers.
Wow.
I know of another family, they have 4 children, and none of them are sufferers. So how these things are distributed, we don't know. God is sovereign. That's why it's very, very important that they hear from God. If they are Christians, they must seek the face of the Lord and really hear from God. So they just can't walk into marriage ignorantly.
So it's not like it's certain that if you get married to someone if you both SS, you're gonna have, AS, you're gonna have SS kids. It's not certain.
No, it's not certain at all. We don't know how these things are distributed. That's why J Before Courtship is there to create the awareness and to guide young ones to make that informed decision based on what the genotype is.
Okay, hi Nelly.
Hello.
Nice having young questions in her.
Thank you.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Nelia, and I'm 21 years old. Currently a sickle cell patient.
Oh, yeah. The Lord is your strength.
Amen.
Nelly is 21 years old and she's a sufferer, isn't it? Is that what they call it?
Yes.
Okay, of sickle cell. Those who have sickle cell anemia, Nelly, suffers from anemia and severe pains, isn't it? These pains and severe attacks are known as crisis. Can you tell us tonight, Lily, how does it really feel to be in pain as a result of sickle cell?
As a result of sickle cell, to really be in
You've
pain.
been a carrier for 21 years.
Yes, I have.
How does it really feel? Because at times when you don't know how something feels, you don't really see the importance of trying to prevent it, you know. But can you tell us how does it really feel?
As a sickle patient, my personal, every sickle patient has a different personal experience.
Okay.
My personal experience is, I can definitely tell you there's emotional pain attached to it, and there's also physical. The physical aspect is the worst bit because we have to get through that. I describe it sometimes as knocking your bones against steel or wood, or somebody wearing high heels walking on your bones. Constantly.
That's how it feels.
Yeah, I've had feelings like that where I literally can't take it, and you get to a certain point where you're like, right, is this what life is supposed to be about? And you start to question, and that's where the emotional side of things comes to it. And you know, especially being young is very difficult because you're seeing how other young people are coping with life. And yes, it is difficult in life, but they don't go through the physical pain, and you know, you question it. It's really difficult.
That's incredible. Sickle cell pains feels like someone having a high heel walking on your back. Oh no, walking on your bones.
Yeah, I've had people describe it to me differently as well, because you know, you have the pain that's going with your heartbeat, so you don't even get a break from it.
Oh my God.
You know, slamming your fingers against the door. You know, that intenseness of,
and it's continuous.
It's continuous. And you know, you're relying on strong painkillers and stuff to give you some relief.
Wow, this is how you've lived for 21 solid years.
Yeah.
How often do you have crisis?
My crisis has varied. They've gotten worse since 2010. I've suffered quite severe crises, and it was as bad as twice a month, once a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it gets more frequent with age, is that what you're saying?
Do you know, they believe in the sickle cycle, where sometimes the young, you have to get worse to get better kind of thing. Some people go through that when they're very young. Some people go through it in their teenage years or in their, adult years. And I've faced it from the age of 17 till right now.
So how do you deal with the pains when it's there?
You kind of just have to. Painkillers, trying to keep calm and not stress, because sickle cell crisis, which is the pain, brings on a lot of other complications as well. Wow. Like I've suffered a mini stroke.
You've suffered a mini stroke?
Yes, I have.
Wow.
I've suffered, this time last year actually, I lost my mobility.
Seriously?
This was because the HB, as the doctor just explained, went really low to 4, and there was no blood supply in my nerves, in my legs. So it's like they stopped working for a good month. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. If the pains are not there, how do you feel about being normal, having a normal life? What's your schedule like on a normal day when you're fine and you're just Nelly?
Yes. Again, like I said, it depends on the personal experience of a person, how a person portrays their life. I've always said I'm not a victim of sickle cell. I refuse to be a victim of sickle cell. So the days that I'm fine, I am fine. I'm out there going to uni, meeting my friends and doing everything normal. And when it catches me, it catches me. So
the Lord is your strength.
Amen.
The one who has brought you this far will keep you safe. Mo, have you got a child with sickle cell disorder?
Yeah, I do have a child that has the full-blown disease.
So you got married to your AS, your husband is AS?
Yes, I'm AS, and I got married to my husband. I believe that, I said,
you're AS?
I'm AS, and my husband is AS. So we're both carriers.
Wow.
We are both carriers. But as at the time I married him, I didn't know that he was a carrier.
You didn't do genotype test?
I knew my genotype. I knew what I was, but
so you didn't ask him for?
I did ask him.
It was love is blind, isn't it? It was love is blind thing, isn't it?
It wasn't about love being blind. What he said, he thought he was AA. I asked him. I said, "What is your genotype?" He said, "I'm AA," because he did the test in Nigeria, and the result he was given was that he's AA.
Oh,
so and I have about 5 people I know. I've met them, and they came with the wrong result from Nigeria. They got to this country, met the lady or met the gentleman, got married, only to find out that they're both carriers. So one of the things we're also trying to address, which is secondary, is for JB4 courtship, to help hospitals in Nigeria where machines are defective, if they can be replaced, because
so 5 people give people the right results.
People are coming to this country, they're relocating with inaccurate results, and they're relying on it.
Incredible.
Yes, that was what happens to me.
So how do you find dealing with kids? How many kids have you got?
I've got 3 children.
How many of them are?
Only one of them. The other 2 are fine. So only one.
So how do you deal and cope with this case when the child has got crisis?
Just being there for her and just loving her and trusting God, prayers.
Does it have any effect on the family?
It does. Yeah, it disrupts the family. There was a time we were supposed to travel to America. We had bought our tickets and done everything, and the crisis developed, so we had to cancel it. We couldn't go. So it does put a strain on the family.
If you had known that your husband was AS, would you have married him?
If I had known that he was AS, now I wouldn't have married him. And I've said this.
He's listening, he's watching.
Yes, I've said it, and he knows where he stands. But Sister Esther, I've now come to realize that God allowed me to marry him for a time such as this. Because I had a friend who had the condition in Nigeria, and she eventually died. And I said I would never have a child like this girl, because she really troubled her parents. Not that she purposely troubled them, but she was in and out of the hospital. She disturbed their lives, and I said, God, I don't want to have a child like this. So in my, growing up as a lady, any guy, early days, what's your genotype? What's your genotype? So that was it.
As careful as you were, you got it wrong.
So God allowed it. God is sovereign. God allowed it to happen.
Okay.
He allowed this to happen for a time such as this.
As careful as Mo was, she got it wrong.
For God's purpose.
She got it wrong. For God's purpose.
Yes.
Really, the Lord will keep you safe.
Amen.
Be positive.
Thank you.
You will live and not die. We'll go on a short break. And when we return, we'll get you to meet one more person. Our studio line will be open. You can send your text messages if the lines are jam-packed tonight. And we'll keep the ball rolling from there. Don't touch the dial. I'll see you in a soon. Very soon. Thanks, Nelly. I'll see you in a bit. We are here only because of you. If questions in the heart have been a blessing, we would ask of you to please sow towards our ministry so we can keep doing what we do. Please support us. Our website address is www.questionsintheart.com. Please click on the PayPal link. Telephone 0788 120 7952. As you give towards this work, we can reach more and liberate more. God bless you.
For immigration issues in the UK, then listen to this from Victory Legal Services Luton, led by Mrs. Marian Owoyifa, LLB Honours, MA Advice and Legal Work. We are specialists in immigration and nationality law, debt and consumer law, housing law, social security law. Contact us today at number 20 Southampton Gardens, Luton, Bedfordshire, LU3 3UA. Or you can call us on 01582 524 521 and 07862 254 673. Our website is www.victorylegalservices.co.uk. We are a legal firm that is regulated by the OISC. Contact us today and you will be happy.
Bar, restaurant and nightclub. For all your African and continental dishes, come to Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub. Banku and tilapia, fufu, fried yam, pounded yam, egusi and many more. Excellent food range. Fully stocked bar, professional catering services, late night license, Afro entertainment, fully air conditioned. Afrikiko is a perfect spot for your special event, parties, weddings, meetings and private functions. Call us for a reservation today. Time Monday to Thursday 12 noon to 1 a.m. Friday to Sunday 12 noon to 4 a.m. Locate Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub on the Old Kent Road, London SE15 1NX. Telephone 0207 732 4041 or 07903 315 150 or visit www.afrikiko.uk.com. Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub, a place to be.
Would you love to be part of a family-friendly church where the love is genuine, the worship is intense, and you are well looked after? Then join us at the Chapel of Mercy, Redeemed Christian Church of God for any of our services. Sunday service 12:30 p.m. Tuesday Bible study 7 p.m. On the last Friday of the month, we have our prayer vigil that starts at 10 p.m. We meet at St. George's Hall, St. George's Center, Chippenham Road, Harold Hill, Romford, RM3 8HX. Bus information is on the screen. Pastor Ola Otebola, Resident Pastor. Pastor E.A. Adeboye, General Overseer. Please do join us and God bless you.
Hello Jude, do you know about J before courtship?
J before courtship? Shakila, what on earth is J before courtship?
It means just before you go into courtship. And it's a charity organization, set up to create the awareness about knowing our genotype, and most importantly for individuals who are about to go into intimate relationship, especially if they are planning to have children.
Ah. Please tell me more.
It's about attaining very important information before going into courtship.
And what is so important then? Academic qualification, family background, or religious orientation?
No, come on Jude, it's more than that. It's about knowing your genotype before getting romantically, emotionally and involved.
How do you mean?
I mean before you fall in love, or head over heels in love, or before the love ocean sweeps you off your feet, and you get carried away. Anyway, to be serious now, it is simply about checking your genotype. If you are a sickle cell sufferer, then your genotype is SS, and if you are a sickle cell carrier, you are AS. Now the only thing to avoid if possible is checking that you and the fine girl you want to get married to, or the guy you are planning to marry, especially if you're planning to have children, are not both AS, or else there's the possibility of having a child with the full-blown disease. So JB4 is creating the awareness so that intending couples can exchange this vital information well in the early days of their relationship, and make a guided decision.
Wow. Thanks so much Shakila. I understand JB4's mission now.
You are welcome Jude. But not enough to thank me. Please try and get yourself screened to know your genotype.
Now I know my genotype. I'm AS, which means I have a trait.
I've got Iyamide, am I right?
You're very right.
I've got Iyamide, specialist with us in the house tonight. You want to introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Iyamide Thomas, and I work with the Sickle Cell Society and also with the NHS screening program. The role that I take with the NHS is to sort of do outreach work, raising awareness about sickle cell and testing for sickle cell. So that really is in line with what JB4 is also proposing. Yes.
Okay.
So.
You have a wonderful set of people in your team. Okay, Iyamide, why should I test?
Right. They always say knowledge is power. I believe in education because a lot of the decisions people make are because they're not educated enough about sickle cell. The stigma around sickle cell, again, is to do with lack of education. I believe that if you test, you can make informed choices about, what you'd like to do as far as who you marry, who you have children with. It's all about informed choice, because when you have that choice about what your genotype is, there are other options you can take actually about whether you do go together with somebody who's AS. Two people who are AS, there are other choices they can take that would probably mean they don't have a child with sickle cell. So that there's an angle that hasn't been mentioned before, that two people with AS, at every pregnancy, the chance of them having a child with full-blown sickle cell is 25%. Right. Now, apart from those that don't want to take that 25% risk, you can actually do, it's expensive, but they do have a procedure that you can do, which would mean that you will not have a child with sickle cell.
Even if you're both AS?
Even if you're both AS, yes. So I think that should also, that's finding out information, and that's giving you enough information to make the right choices for you.
So who should test?
Well, okay, if it was me, I'd say everybody in at least in the high risk group, i.e., in the people from Africa, the Caribbean, the Middle East, people who are the high risk group should be the first to make sure they know their genotype. That's not to say people who are not
Dwell a bit more for me on people who are, who are high risk. Who are they?
Okay. Sickle cell is a condition that's most prevalent in people who originate from malarial areas, okay? And that then takes on board people who are from Africa, the Middle East, the Caribbean, India, Saudi Arabia. But with the screening, because now every newborn baby is tested for the sickle cell gene, and what they're finding is that 1 in 450 white babies is being born with a sickle cell gene. So the odds are 1 in 7 African babies will be born with a sickle cell gene in this country I'm talking about.
1 in 7 African babies
born in this country have a sickle cell gene. 1 in 8 Caribbeans have a sickle cell gene. But it's interesting that 1 in 450 babies who will be classed as white,
1 in
450. That's what the screening program is finding. So it's not a black disease. So we need to stress that as well.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Yamide. Mo, why is the church not discussing CD? Why is the church or Christians ashamed to discuss sickle cell disease?
Okay, thank you. I think it boils down to ignorance. But thank God, in this day and age, the churches are becoming more aware, and that's why J-Before Courtship has been created to encourage young people and to work alongside with churches and pastors to get them informed and get them to include it in the counseling sessions. So pastors have a very strong influence on their members. They're about to get married, they approach the pastor, he spends time with them, he counsels them. So during these counseling sessions, he will ask them to go and get themselves tested, and they'll come back with the results, and he will guide them. So in this day and age, a lot of my pastor friends, a lot of pastors I know are now getting involved in sickle cell awareness, what it's about, what to do, how to avoid it.
So are you saying the church is coming up to the
Yeah, gone are the days when the church buried its head in the sand like an ostrich, but in this day and age, the awareness is being created, it's getting higher and higher.
Okay, someone sent a text saying, "Hi Esther, thank God for J-Before. I think it's high time for Africans to get rid of sickle cell, harmful recessive form of our society. Thanks for hosting such insightful vision. Thanks to Pastor Modupe and our team. I really enjoyed it. How can we support J-Before?" That's from Leko Ajayi.
Okay, thank you.
Someone has said, "My name is Kemi from Kent. J-Before is very important because when you visit a sufferer in the hospital, then you know it's just not worth taking the risk except God has spoken." Okay, back to you, Iyamide. How important is it for two people who are planning to get married to get tested before they get married? How important is this?
I think it's very important.
Okay.
I think it's very important because we don't want people to have...
1 minute, Iyamide. Good evening, thanks for calling. Hello?
Right, hello?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for calling.
My name is Magno.
Okay.
I'm bringing from New Cross, London. But this is not a question I'm throwing. I'm just trying to...
I can't hear you. Can you speak up, please? Hello? Okay, Iyamide, you were saying something about...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you're still there. Hello?
Yes, hello?
Okay.
Right. Okay, what I'm trying to say, that's not a question I'm trying to throw at you, but...
Okay, go on.
I've been listening to what you say in lecture, about, love and stuff like that. I pretty much agree with what the pastor said about, my people are perished for lack of knowledge. If you look at what the British woman sitting by, beside her, I believe she's a doctor, that is raw information. There's no point trying to tempt God because, the pastor has already said information is very good. Being a believer or being a child of God or a Christian or whatever, we are, it shouldn't mean that we shouldn't
take that risk.
Engrossed with, I love you, and then, bring people to this world to suffer. What I'm trying to say is, I'm so much happy with such information because this whole world, especially Africa, pardon me to use this phrase, they said when you want to hide something from black people, you put it in the books because they will never read it. But the thing is, those people you have here, they are God-sent. They are, they are brilliant.
We appreciate you.
What the woman has just said about.
We appreciate you. Our time is not much tonight. Thank you so very much. It was saying, love regardless, don't take the risk.
Don't take the risk. Don't
it's not worth it.
Do not gamble on anybody's life. It's not worth it.
Like
Don't
you told me
gamble.
backstage that your daughter asked you why you got married to your husband.
She said, why? And I told her that I didn't know. She said, okay, mommy, I thought you knew. I thought you knew and you went ahead to gamble on my life. No child's life is worth gambling on.
Don't gamble because of love.
So J before courtship is create the awareness of
Oh, I love him. I can't live without him. I can't sleep without him.
No.
Not when you're both AS.
Think about tomorrow. It's not just about today.
Okay, God bless you. Back to you, Iyamide. How important is it for two people who are planning to get married to get tested? Love regardless.
It's very important because once you're tested, then you know what the situation is, you know what you're dealing with. What you don't want is to first hear about sickle cell or the fact that you carried the gene when you have a child with, that's born with the condition, because that's happened in the past. It happens now. People are married, the child has the condition, that's the first time they've heard of sickle cell.
Wow.
And in this day and age, with all the awareness that's being done and the internet and things, it's, I don't think that there's an excuse for that. That I think people from, especially as I said, the high-risk groups, should take that responsibility, especially the men. Let me say that the men are the ones that don't want to get tested in a lot of cases. I am very serious.
You're saying men don't want to get tested.
I am saying that, let me even give you an example. Apart from, I know we're talking about being tested before you get married, but there are men who don't want to get tested even when their partner is pregnant and has been found to have the gene, which is, showing that there's already the risk there in that relationship, and they call them for testing and they still don't go. So it's so that, we need to spread the awareness and also tell the men in particular.
There is there, isn't it? Trying to shy away from it wouldn't do anything, would make the case worse.
So creating the awareness, one of the things JB for Courtship is also doing.
1 minute more. Okay. Good evening, thanks for calling. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yes? Hello?
Hello, Alu, I can hear you speak on, please.
My question is, what happens if... my question is, what... Would you become AS?
Can you come up with that question again, please? Can you repeat your question, Halu?
Okay. What happens if a AA gives their blood, transfers some of their blood to a SS?
Okay.
To become AS.
Oh, okay. What happens if miracle happens and AS has been turned to AA, I guess. That's what
anyway, I can't answer that because I'm not medically inclined like that. But what J4 Courtship is about is to create the awareness. And there are 3 categories we have in place. We have the J4 Courtship, J4 Ambassador, and we have the J4 Assessors, and we have the J4 Announcers. Okay. So the ambassadors will be those who speak for J4. They'll be the face of J4. Then the announcers are those who wear the T-shirts, the baseball caps, the badges, the flags. And then we have the assessors who will tell us what we're doing well, what we need to stop doing, and what we need to do less of.
Okay, Yamide is a specialist here tonight. Do you believe in a situation where God turns AS to AA? Have you ever seen anything like that? Someone with AS genotype being turned into AA?
Personally, no. Because I don't believe that the genes can be changed just like that without being manipulated scientifically. That's me, so, But there are people who think that, they've been cured. I've actually spoken to people somebody who said to me, I used to be SS, and stuff like that. But
used to be SS and God changed it to AA?
Well, she didn't actually go that far. I think what she meant was, when I sort of thought about it a bit more, that she'd learned more to manage her condition rather than, suffer from it. I think that was what she meant.
Maybe not so many frequent visits to the hospital.
So
just living a life of them, divine health.
Okay. Someone said this is a very good initiative, Pastor Mo. JB4 is an eye-opener. Thank you for the awareness, Olufemi and Adetola Onobanjo. Go tonight. Good efforts and commendable program. Thank you for JB4 initiative. We should not tempt God. So if you're not, Mo, if someone is saying God is able, God is more than sufficient, God has spoken, that's my partner, we don't need to test. Is that a test on God's ability and God's strength?
Again, like I said earlier on, the book of Hosea chapter 4, verse 6a says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. If knowledge has been made available, then let's make advantage of it. Let's take advantage of it. Wisdom dictates that we apply what has been made available to us. So why bring a child into the world that will suffer? You know, for those who have been born, we are praying that God will heal them. But why bring more?
Why bring more?
So J before courtship is to reduce the number of children
get
born
tested
with the condition.
before you start cutting.
Yeah, get tested. Know what your genotype
Love is no more blind.
Don't assume that you're
the high of love is wide open. Good evening. Thanks for calling. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for calling.
I wanted to ask Ayomide a question.
Go on, please.
What is the procedure that people with AS can do to prevent having a child with SS?
Your question again, please.
I think she asked
what procedure can two people...
What procedure? Okay, got you now.
Prevent having a child with SS?
Okay.
Oh yes, I did mention it.
Yeah.
It's similar to IVF. It's actually called pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. And what happens is the fertilization, like IVF, is done outside, you know, in the lab, and they test the embryos and only reimplant those that are not affected by sickle cell, so that, you know, that's your baby will not have sickle cell. So what they do, they fertilize, you know, the two AS partners. They do IVF. And then only reimplant those embryos that are not affected, and to see which one actually, you know, then goes into full whatever.
Our time is gone tonight. Is sickle cell disorder, is it contagious? Can you catch it like it's cold?
Not at all. Not at all.
Our time is gone tonight. I've got to go. I can assure you we'll bring J before courtship back on Questions in the Heart. Catch up on our past programs on www.questionsintheheart.com. And for information on J before courtship, get in touch with Mo. Their information has been on the screen before, or log on to our website as well. Their adverts will be on there soon. A very big thank you to you for coming on Questions in the Heart. Please keep the good work on. The Lord bless you. Iyamide, give 100% support to J before courtship. We will support you as well. Till I see you, same time, same station next week. Get tested. Love is not enough. God bless you.